Welcome back to the Athletic Conference Room, our wonderful home. Thank you to the Athletic Department. We have Season 4, Episode 1, the first episode of the 2025-2026 school year. And let's introduce our cast. We'll start down here.
Hello, I'm Cooper Hewitt. I'm new to the Sports Broadcasting Club. You'll be seeing more of me.
Hello, I'm Jack Quinn. I'm also new.
I'm Brandon Nappi.
I'm Phillip. Been here for 2 years.
Yep, Jayden Ferry, and me and Brandon are co-presidents.
Yep, it's great that we have two new guys joining us so quickly into the school year. So, always looking for more members. If you're interested, come join us Athletic Conference Room Wednesdays during lunch. And now into our first thing, Somer Sports Recap from the first 2 to 2.5 weeks of school. So I'll start us off, Somer's varsity football versus Iona. That was a neutral site game at CBA. That was a loss, 37-7, unfortunately.
Yeah, next up they took Ryan for week 1, and unfortunately they lost 17-7.
Now we're looking at Somer's boys soccer. They went against Walter Panis, and they unfortunately lost 3-2.
And then Somer's soccer went against Pleasantville, and unfortunately, again, they lost 4-1.
Then Somers was at Arlington, winning 2-0.
Then at Carmel, tied 0-0.
Yeah, and next they won at Hen Hud 4-1.
Then they won against Lakeland 3-1.
And then at home, we beat Hen Hudson 5-0.
All right, so now let's talk about the new football seasons. And Brandon, what about you start? Why don't you start first?
Yeah, so Somers hasn't had the best start. The first game, neutral site game, lost to Iona. That's fine. Whatever. That's a private school. That doesn't affect us. That doesn't count to our NISPA record. But losing to Rye was not something that I saw coming. So this was actually the first time Somers lost a Section 1 football game in 6 years. And as for the rest of the season, I think that they need to win the rest of their games. And then they would most likely play Rye again for the second section championship. So that needs to obviously go different.
All right, so Somers, so far, obviously not the best start. Technically 0-1, but they lost that game against Iona. But that's a private school. They have a really good football program. So they lost both those games. Surprising loss, to Rye. Obviously, what Brandon said, they haven't lost in like 6 years, I believe. 6 years.
Yep.
Correct.
For a Section 1 game. So they have not lost in a while. That offense, they scored 7 points against Iona, and then another 7 again, I believe, or something like that, against Rye. So Somers, I think their offense needs to step it up. You can't be making these silly mistakes and dropping, easy stuff.
Yeah, definitely. There's definitely some mistakes going on, but I think Somers can power through. This rough start, you're just being beat from Iona and Rye. You're just being squeezed out of the first few weeks, especially with a new quarterback and a lot of new team. There's a lot of 11th graders on the team now. But I think Somers can recover. I think they can make it to some good sectional games.
Yeah, I completely agree with Jayden. Somers obviously has gotten off to a rough start here, and I don't think any of our fan base saw these loses coming. But again, I think Somers can wipe the slate clean and start winning some games.
So now we're going to have what we think is going to happen in the upcoming game, Somers versus Mayapack. This is our homecoming game. I'm going to go ahead and start, and I personally think that we're well prepared. We just lost to Rye. We're hungry. We are going to beat Mayapack 35-6.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a closer game, given that Somers, they've been on the down a little bit so far this season, but I think they're going to bring it back up. They're going to have a win here, 28-24, but I can see Mayapack definitely keeping it close, taking advantage of Somers maybe being, a little questionable of themselves.
Yeah, I think like the last couple games, I don't think they're going to lose, but I think it's going to be low scoring. Somers offense, they're not getting on to like a high start. They're on a rough start. So if they could get this offense, rolling, get the focus on the run game and a little bit more on the pass game, I think it'll be a 20-17 win.
And I think Somers, they're really going to come back from these losses. I think that the defense is going to show up too and make it so Mayapack does not get a touchdown on a drive and has to go for a field goal. I'm thinking 35-17. And Jack, what do you think?
Again, think it's going to be a pretty tight game. Somers' offense hasn't really showed any sign of moving the ball or scoring. So I think it's going to be 28-20.
And then that will be the first home game for Somers. So we will have a full setup live broadcast that night. So please, if you cannot watch the game, come watch us. Listen on your way home from work, whatever you're doing. Listen or watch on YouTube. Next into MLB, we have the playoffs coming up, the postseason upcoming. So those are going to start September 30th with the Wild Card Series, and that's going to end with the World Series in late October to early November. So we already have some teams clinching postseason spots. Those are the Brewers, Phillies, Cubs, Blue Jays, and Tigers. They already secured their spot into the postseason. And we have other teams like the Yankees, Mariners, and Astros who are currently still fighting for those wild card position spots. So the AL West and the NL West are very tight. Those can go either way right now. That's going to add in extra pressure in the season's final few weeks. The top two teams in each division in the league get a bye, and teams are fighting hard to secure their higher seats. And you can expect to see more intense games, and in my opinion, this is the best time of year for sports.
All right, so in our broadcast, if you watched that, we talked about week 1 for the NFL. So let's go to week 2, actually. So on Thursday Night Football, the Packers beat the Commanders, I believe, 27-21. That was a great game for Micah Parsons, really showing up, really limiting Jayden Daniels. Rams beat the Titans 33-19. Cam Ward, it was his first touchdown pass. He didn't look too good, but the Titans, I believe, are 0-2 right now, so if they could get this rolling. Bengals beat the Jaguars. Joe Burrow left, I believe, in the second or third quarter, so he's out for the next 3 months around that with a toe turf injury. So sorry if you have him in fantasy this year. But Jake Browning came out. He threw, I believe, 2 or 3 picks, but then he led the game-winning drive. Next we have Ravens-Browns. Ravens easily won that. It was a high-scoring game. Derrick Henry did not do too much, unfortunately. It was 41-17. And then we have Bills-Jets. Bills won 30-10. Shut Justin Fields down. Shut Breece Hall down. Really got them down. And surprising, Patriots beat the Dolphins. So the Patriots actually came out and they just won. I mean, they did really, really well. You don't really expect the Patriots to do well, but they beat the Dolphins, who are now 0-2, which is really surprising. And they haven't started like that since 2019, I believe. And then next, we have the 49ers beating the Saints. Brock Purdy and George Kittle, I believe, were out for that one. So it was Mac Jones starting. And Mac Jones they were able to squeak out the win against the now 0-2 Saints. Then I think game of the week, Brandon, the Cowboys and the Giants. Cowboys won that. Malik Neighbors and Russell Wilson, that connection's finally, I think it's actually good now. Great game, went to overtime. Each team, I believe, had 2 possessions in overtime, which is something you don't really see that much. And then Brandon Aubrey came out to hit the game-winning field goal in overtime. Lions made a fool of the Bears, winning 52-21, I believe. It was a great game for all the fantasy owners out there. Seahawks beat the Steelers 31-17. That was an easy win for them. DK Metcalf getting revenge on his old Pittsburgh team. Colts beat the Broncos, so Daniel Jones is now 2-0 starting on his new team, which is something you'll probably never see again. Cardinals beat the Panthers in an ugly win. Eagles beat the Chiefs in a Super Bowl rematch, 20-17, very low scoring. They were able to shut Saquon Barkley down for the most part. Falcons beat the Vikings 22-6 in a good win. And then on Monday Night Football, the Buccaneers beat the Texans 20-19. So that's your NFL Week 2 recap.
Yeah, now we're going to move on to NFL Week 4. So these games will be later this week, Thursday and Sunday. So I'll start us off. First game, of course, I'm going to pick the Cowboys versus the Packers. And this is Micah Parsons' return to AT&T Stadium. I think the Cowboys are going to continue their momentum into this game and take the win at home, 38-28. And then my second game that I'm going to talk about is the Chiefs versus the Ravens. It's going to be an amazing matchup. I think the Ravens are going to have the upper hand in this one. Personally, I believe that the Chiefs are showing signs of a decline in the near future, and I don't think that there's a better team out there than the Ravens to help push that along. So final score 41-35 Ravens.
Yeah, for me, I think the Eagles, I believe it's the Eagles-Buccaneers game. I think that's going to be a great game. Right now, currently 2-0 teams. Buccaneers looking amazing with Emeka and Buka. And Bucky Irving. They're looking great, so I think that's going to be a good game, but I do think the Eagles are going to squeak out a win. I think it'll be high scoring. I think it'll be 30-27 or 35-32. And then my second game, I have the Jets-Dolphins playing on that Monday night. Two not so great teams, but I do think that the Jets have a little bit of the upper hand, and I think the Dolphins are going to start off and have a really rough season, so I think the Jets are going to squeak out a win, go winning 27-24. So now we're on to our early Super Bowl prediction. It's good to, get a prediction out there early, see where, how it does. So I'll start. I think the Super Bowl is either going to be the Bills or the Eagles or the Ravens and the Lions. I think those are all four of those teams are on the same level, kind of equally. I think they're all great teams, but I do think that the Chiefs are not going to make it this year. We said that last year, but they still made it somehow, barely squeaking out wins. But I think one of those four teams, at least two of them, will be in the Super Bowl. What about you, Brandon?
Yeah, those four teams Phillip mentioned, definitely contenders. I agree with you with the Ravens being in the Super Bowl, but then I'm going to have to go with the 49ers instead.
Yeah, I just think they're very injury prone. I don't know if I trust them to make it
I think if they can stay healthy, I think they can make it.
Yeah, and I kind of gotta agree with you, Phillip. I think Bills and Eagles has a good chance of happening. You see these teams are pretty powerful. I think the Bills are going to make it. I think they are. And the Eagles, I think they're going to carry the momentum from last year. Keep it going.
Any bias involved in that decision?
I had bias too. That's it. I don't know.
Thank you, Jayden. I think that the Bills are doing really well this season. Right now, as of Thursday, Week 3, they just beat the Dolphins. They've beaten the Ravens, the most dominant team of the NFL. I think they're going to make it in the AFC. And the Lions have been showing some pretty good signs on offense. They've gotten high-scored games. They just destroyed the Bears 56-20, and I think that it's going to be Bills-Lions in the Super Bowl.
I think Lamar Jackson will finally get that playoff win against Josh Allen, and it'll be a Ravens-Eagles Super Bowl.
Right now, we got NFL recaps for Week 2. I'm going to go with the Colts and the Broncos, which was a really close game. The final score ended up to be 29-28. It started off back and forth. Started off with the Colts getting a right-off-the-bat field goal. Broncos retaliating, getting a touchdown. Some pretty great catches in that game, and in the end, it was 28-26 Broncos. With the Colts have the ball, they missed a field goal to win the game, but there was a penalty on the defense. They moved it up 10 yards. Colts kicked the field goal for the win, 29-28 Colts.
All right, I guess I'll do a game 2. So we went over Week 2, obviously. For the broadcast, we went over Week 1. But if you weren't on the broadcast, and let's recap, I think Game of the Week, potentially Game of the Year, too early to tell. But the Bills-Ravens, that was an amazing game. The Bills won 41-40 on that one. So around midway through, a little towards the third quarter, the Ravens were up 40-25, I believe. That was a great lead. I saw a bunch of Bills, fans leaving the stadium. But then with around 4 minutes left, the Bills scored 16 points, and they were able to get the win over them with a Matt Prater field goal. So Tyler Bass, the original Bills kicker, was unfortunately on IR. But then Matt Prater, the 41-year-old, he just signed with the team. A couple of days later, he goes and hits the game-winning field goal against the Baltimore Ravens, and the Bills win 41-40.
Yeah, people shouldn't leave early if that's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of got to stay if it's
You can't leave early with those two teams playing each other. Yeah, thank you so much for watching the first episode of Season 4, first episode 2025-2026 school year. Make sure to check out some other content on the channel. Follow us on the Instagram, subscribe on the YouTube. Definitely check out one of those live broadcasts we have coming up. So we are the So Much Sports Broadcasting Club. See you next week.